Three, two, one, let's go. All right, guys. Today I'm here to talk about a conversation that is emerging within film. All right, because art is a conversation between ideas. So this all started when Whiplash came out. All right. So when Whiplash, what made it so special, what made it right, it's the energy of the film resonate through the space and start a dialogue is that it is a response to the American story of ambition and glory. The Americans' hero's journey. Okay, that's what it is. So, for example, I'll break it down for you. What makes the American ambition different from the rest of the world? Well, just think of how our country was founded, all right? We were a British colony, all right? Meant to be nothing more. And then instead of just doing what was expected of us, all right, even what was rational, against all odds, what happened? We gained our independence, won the war. We had no business doing it, and then what happened? America became the greatest country in the world, right? Anyways, so with Whiplash, so most of the media before pre-Whiplash, that's like what you typically see in a Hollywood's ambition, okay, of the American dream was struggling against all odds and then breaking through and becoming the greatest, right? And it was always a causative, just throughout, right? While Whiplash really it shows you the price, the dark side, all right? The dark side that's never been shown before, all right? Rarely, not in the mainstream, okay? Nothing that broke through like that. So what is the price one has to pay for ambition, all right? And this is ambition in a very hyper masculine frame, okay? Perfection, repetition, no weakness, okay? And like, why do I bring all this into Whiplash? It's because what makes it there's so much that makes it special, all right? But it's vertical, the things it touches on, from the all right, the typical, like, hick American family, all right? And what do they value? What do they worship? Do they care about high arts, jazz, percussion? Do they care about any of that? Academia? Not really. Sports, they worship sports, all right? And that shows in the scene with the family, how they're praising, one of his cousins, who is in Division Three football team of the university, and they're acting as if it's like he's going to the NFL. Meanwhile, the main character of Whiplash, he's attending the best university for music in the country. Already, insanely, like, against the odds, and he's in the elite group of the Terrence Fletcher's band, which is okay. What, like 15 people, 15, 20 people total? Like, that means you're essentially the 20 greatest musicians of this style of music in the country, okay? And yet they don't care, all right? And all right, so that's one aspect, all right? This is the and it it's very intense throughout, and it shows. It really shows the price one pays when you know they're channeling hyper masculinity, and there's no balance. And the price, the people, you got the sacrifice along the way, and then at the end, you know it's up to interpretation, but most people think he ends up just becoming a drug addict and dying, right? All right, and then what are the other two films? Where is this conversation emerging? All right, the next one, Perfect Days, came out. So Perfect Days is this movie about this janitor in Japan and his lifestyle. How he lives very, like, zen, or, like, wakes up, like, loves to read, loves photography, and he just has a very peaceful zen life, and he finds just meaning in the small things. Loves listening to cassettes in the car of music. And but yeah, he's a janitor. It's the typical. He works just cleaning a porta potty station, essentially, in Japan. The lowest of the low. With our typical values, that's how could you be happy, right? But he shows him being happy, and it's cool because it shows a perspective of him, and then also a perspective of his family, and how, like, they like, hey, wasting your life, right? And gets a what I love about these movies is that it gets a reaction out of people. So, some people online, they read that they just thought this guy was coping, that he was just avoiding his like real life and just like to stay in this like la la dreamland, and that's fair enough. But others see how he's finding meaning in the small things, and it really just shows that, what you come away from these films thinking shows a lot about how you think and your mindset. Because some people with Whiplash came away from it thinking that's exactly how I think, because with Whiplash, it's so appealing, this ideal that Terrence Fletcher represents to the main character. It's of power, of glory, being the best. And it shows, it's no coincidence that the main character has no mother in his life. He didn't get much praise growing up, not much recognition. He was shy, didn't believe in himself, had low self-esteem, would be the type he couldn't look in people's eyes, just loved to look at the floor. And Terrence was the first person to actually recognize his talents and then gave him, the link. He's like, you get my approval, you will be the greatest, right? And that's how he's bonded by slavery, because at the end of the day, what is it about? It's about love. He wants to be loved, and it's something that, especially a lot of young men, when they're struggling with this, they channel a lot of that frustration into, okay, they'll like into hardcore discipline. A lot of men were bodybuilders. This is why they do it, because they had low self-esteem growing up, and they see this vision, if I get that perfect body, then woman will love me, then I'll get like men will respect me, all of this. It's a vision for power. And in that, you see it in the anybody in the manosphere on the internet today. That's what it is. It's like, you see it in the character in the film. He breaks up with his girlfriend because he essentially thinks you're just going to be a distraction for my mission. There's no element within him that can channel, the divine feminine as a muse. That's not his connection as an artist. Like I said, the hyper masculine. So sadly, there hasn't been. I expect this in the future, but maybe a response film in the future that will channel more of the divine feminine. But the third movie I'm seeing in this conversation that just came out this recently, Marty Supreme, right? Marty Supreme is main character Marty. He's on his journey he believes he's gonna be like the greatest ping pong player in the world, and then like come and make it a huge sport in America. He's gonna be like rich and all this. He has all these ideas, and he believes he's a man who's given a great destiny, and that he lives his life with this extreme intention to manifest that, while other people are just sleepwalking all of this. It is an amazing portrayal of a narcissist, okay, that I've ever seen in film, because in most films I've seen, the narcissist is, I didn't realize it until I saw Marty Supreme, but essentially they're more of a caricature, more than somebody, like a caricature, so you can like study the archetype really easily, extreme contrast. While Marty's character, it feels like somebody I've known in real life, like many people I've met. The way like real people in your lives are narcissists, and how they win people over with this extreme charisma, and how much of what they do is extremely extremely performative, but yet, so throughout the film, it's similar to Whiplash in that way, continuing this dialogue where, to achieve this dream, everything is against him, sadly. He doesn't have any support from his family. He has the worst luck possible from the universe. But yet he persists, and through that he drags down. Like he rots everything he touches, honestly. And this is this dialogue that I'm speaking of, right? Between these three films, and it's fascinating. I think we're entering this point in the culture where people are questioning more if it's worth it, if it's worth giving your all to a corporation, all right, some business, just so, what is it? So you can make a little extra money, all right, for when you're retired, rather than like at what cost? Is it at the cost of a family, of love, of your own self fulfillment? You know, is reaching the top really worth all of that? And a lot of people I know are opting out, realizing there's more to life than that. And that's what I'm gonna leave this on off on, because I've run out of ideas. But it was lovely speaking to you on YouTube again, and hope to speak to you again soon. Peace.